Ministry can keep us very busy but emotionally disconnected. We pray together, we serve together, but many couples in ministry quietly say, we love each other, but we don't feel close anymore. Emotional distance rarely announces itself. It grows in the silence, the fatigue, the unmet needs. Today, let's talk about how we can rebuild emotional connection gently, intentionally, and biblically. Hello, I'm Joan, a certified marriage counselor and family therapist. I help Christian couples in ministry to rekindle love, passion, intimacy, and connection. Let's dive in. Step 1. Presence before performance. One of the greatest threats to emotional connection for couples in ministry is that we give our best presence to everyone else except our spouse. Connection doesn't begin with talking more. It begins with being fully present. Being fully present. When your church members and others are talking to you, you are fully present to solve their needs, to solve their problems. When your spouse is talking to you, you brush it off. Sometimes you are rushing out, or you are rushing to pick a phone call. A phone call comes whilst you are talking with your spouse. You stop the conversation and pick the phone call of the church member or whoever it is, and the message you are passing on to your spouse is that that person is more important than you. But you know why that is? But when we say it, you don't believe it. The reason is because you feel that you love your spouse and they should understand. That is the problem. This thing is stemming from taking your spouse for granted. You feel that your spouse will always be there. Your spouse should understand. And your spouse has been understanding over the years. And the emotional distance is growing and growing and growing. And now they are getting to the point where they cannot take it anymore. This is the reason why ministers are divorcing. It is not necessarily because of adultery or anything. The emotional neglect is huge, is big. And we need to stop it. We need to stop taking each other for granted. And sometimes one spouse is the one that keeps trying to keep it all together, trying to check in, trying to communicate, and all of those things. James 1:19 says, "So then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath." We are supposed to be quick to hear. Quick to hear. Pay attention when you are being spoken to, and pay attention even to the unspoken things. See, many couples in ministry are not struggling. Not just couples, even generally, many couples aren't struggling because they don't love each other. They are struggling because they don't feel heard. They don't feel heard. Presence says, I see you. I hear you. I am here. You matter to me. Step 2, express needs without wounding. For couples in ministry, unspoken expectations leads to emotional wounds. We need to learn how to express our needs without wounding our spouse. Needs expressed as accusations push our spouse away. When we go saying you, we use you, they don't hear it. They rather build up a wall of defense. So if you go like you are not spending time with me, you don't make time for me, it's an accusation, as even though it is true. It is an accusation. So they don't often hear it. Everybody likes to feel good, isn't it? So what happens is that without even them knowing, they put up a wall of defense. then we need to break through that. To break through that is for us to express our needs without pointing the finger, without accusing them. So we use I statements. That is the way of expressing it with humility that invites closeness. I statement. So rather say, I feel neglected when we don't spend time together. I feel taken for granted when we are talking and a phone call comes and you pick it without even excusing yourself, or even when you excuse yourself, you don't come back for us to even complete the conversation. That is how to go about it. So you see, you are expressing it. So we need to learn how to reveal our hearts in the statement, not pointing at them, telling them just what they are doing wrong. That is why we are not getting the breakthrough most of the time. Sometimes there are other things under the bridge, all right? But this is the reason. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. Ephesians 4:29. But what is good for necessary edification. So what we are saying must edify. It must edify. Not that we are lying, or just because we want peace, we avoid. And like I said earlier, that avoidance is going to lead to emotional wounds. And emotional wounds are wild. Taken from me, they are wild. We need to learn how to express our needs and express it in a way that it will be received. So what we say must edify, and then it must impart grace to our spouse. Ephesians 4:29 tells us that it may impart grace to the hearers, and our spouse is the hearer. So it must impart grace and encourage them to want to change. So instead of us blaming, we need to shift our sentences to reveal our hearts. All we want is a change, isn't it? Healthy communication is not about winning. It's about understanding. That is what we want at the end of the day. Step 3, create rhythms of connection. Emotional connection thrives on consistency, not intensity or grand gestures. So maybe like you are away for so long, then you just have one big grand gesture, like just one big going out together, and that's it. Then that's it. You feel that you have done it, you have connected, and it ends there. No, that grand gesture is nice, it's good, we do it, but it must be followed with other things to bridge the gap. It's very important. Emotional connection, it thrives on consistency. That is what makes it thrive, blossom, not just intensity. See, many couples in ministry wait for free time. That never comes. You keep waiting for a free time, and you and I know that free time will not come. We've been doing this thing for decades. If you don't plan it, it will not happen. Look, connection must be planned, and you have to stick to the plan. You have to schedule it, just like you schedule your meetings. You have to put it as part of your itinerary for the month, for the week, for the year. It is very crucial because your marriage is very important. Small intentional moments is what helps our connection to thrive. You can have those moments like a daily check-in. I call it a 5-minute check-in. Just 5 minutes, no pressure. When you check in with each other, you find out how you are really doing, not just how are you and casual how are you and just going, no, how you are really doing. You focus on each other, and that can be done over the phone or in person if you are together. All right, if you happen to travel over the phone, you do that. Daily check-in is very important. You ask how each other you are really doing, what your challenges, your wins, and your all of that. You talk about it, how your heart is. That is what will keep the connection thriving. You can also have a weekly conversation without distractions, a day in the week where you spend that time together. It may not be able to be the whole day, but at least you can dedicate a certain number of hours of that day where you connect with each other. You spend that quality time with each other. It's very, very crucial. It is not just about just doing ministry together. You are drifting apart, and before you know it, you may end up separating. This is what's leading to separations and divorce in the life of ministers. You can also pause spiritual activities and have a shared moment together. Like I'm saying, go on a holiday together. If you can't afford a holiday, spend that time at home. Christmas season, make time for yourselves, make time for the family, make time for the children, make time to be with your spouse. It is so important. You see, these moments are what restore the emotional closeness over time. It is not that you do it once and then that's it. No, that disconnection is wide. So if you are bridging it, you need a lot of time, a lot of intentional effort. And after bridging it, you need to keep at it for the connection to remain. Step 4, repair quickly and gently. Disconnection will happen. That's the truth. It's not about if. That's not the question. The question is not if. The question is how long will it last? We need to come back quickly. Ephesians 4:26 says that be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down upon your wrath. So when we falter, when we get bored, we get angry, we are not supposed to allow the sun to go down upon our anger. We need to come back quickly. We need to come back quickly. We need to bridge the gap. Give no place to the devil. Unaddressed hurts hardens the heart. That is the truth. It hardens the heart, but timely repair restores it, and it restores safety. When we feel unsafe, we cannot be able to communicate freely. So we need to resolve those issues. You see, repairing this is not weakness. It's not a sign of weakness. It is emotional maturity. And emotional maturity sounds like, I hurt you. I take responsibility. Let's heal this. Let's fix this. How can we move on what do you expect of me? What would you like us to do to bridge this gap? And listen, listen. Don't brush your spouse's needs off. Listen and take the necessary steps. These steps I'm teaching you, take them literally. Do it and you'll be amazed. Many couples in ministry have used these steps that I'm sharing with you, and their marriages have been restored. Step 5, let God reconnect what life has stretched. Emotional connection for couples in ministry must be spiritually anchored. It must be spiritually anchored. We need to invite God into the process. Ecclesiastes 4:12 says that though one may be overpowered by another, two can withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken. So you and your spouse are the two cords. God is the third cord. We need to invite God into the conversations. We need to invite God into the healing process and the reconnection process. When we do that, the emotional walls begin to fall. and then the connection happens. Prayer becomes softer. Look, your prayers are being hindered because your wife is not happy with you. Those harsh words you've been giving to your wife are hindering your prayers. We see that in First Peter chapter 3. Your prayers are being hindered because of the way you are treating your wife. It is wrong. You need to stop it. You are wasting your time praying all those prayers. You need to restore the connection between you and your spouse and your wife, your husband. You have to do that. It's crucial. It's crucial, even for the fulfillment of your ministry and your relationship with God. So when we invite God into the process, everything becomes easier. Even prayer becomes softer, conversations become safer, and connection becomes deeper. We can't do this without the help of God. Let me say this gently. If we keep doing the same things, we will keep getting the same results. Another year can pass with unspoken hurts, emotional distance, quiet loneliness. Or we can choose to do something different. We can choose to do something about it. This is why I created Effective Communication in Marriage. It's an online course to help Christian couples in ministry move from survival to reconnection. To move into the reconnection with clarity, safety, and biblical wisdom. Your marriage is worth intentional care. We need to care for our marriage. It is time to stop postponing the healing we have been praying for. So if this message spoke to you, I invite you to take the next step. The course is available. The link is in the description. It's self-paced. You take your time and go through it and practice, and you have access to it for 2 full years. And you are not going to walk the journey alone. There is a special Telegram group for all course students where I will walk the journey with you. You can ask questions. We are going to be having Q&A sessions. It is private. It's a safe space. So please take advantage of this. It is very, very important. And I also welcome you to join my free Telegram community. This is different from the exclusive Telegram community for course students. This one is a general free Telegram community. It's a safe space for insights. You're going to get early access to materials and alerts of teachings and all of that. And also I put there weekly encouragement for couples in ministry that I do not share anywhere else. So please do join the free Telegram community. God bless you, and I want you to remember that you are not alone.